Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I want to talk with you guys briefly. If you can take a look at this picture here that I have as a thumbnail that's throughout this video of this man. And what he did was he stole a fire truck. A fire truck had been called to a certain place. Emergency call, I'm guessing. I can't remember the whole story, but he took it. And he went on this, took it on, it's not even a joyride, but he was a danger. He was driving, he was crashing into things, he was mowing through different things, just driving recklessly. There was a police chase trying to stop this guy. And what eventually happens, I guess he got to this point where he was trying to go around a car or whatever he was trying to do. But needless to say, there's a moment that he couldn't go anywhere. And what stopped him? Who stopped him? But this man. This is a homeless man that you see that put himself directly in front of a fire truck. This person stole it. And he stood there for what they said was 20 minutes, just kept his hand there talking to the man through the window. At some point, the guy tried to reverse and go around the homeless guy, but the homeless guy just kind of just stayed in front and even went to prevent him from going any further. Now, this guy, if you take a look at this guy's face, I pixeled out his eyes in the area, but from what I can see and even just what you can tell, this guy was just totally zoned out, gone. And he could have easily ran him over, but think about it. He's already busted through cars, different things. The police can't stop him. And here's this man, a homeless guy, that gets in front of the fire truck and just puts his hand on the window and begins to talk to him. And I don't know the words that he said to him, but in him just taking the time to talk to this gentleman for 20 minutes, it didn't take a bullet, it didn't take anything violent, but just a voice to speak to this man and bring him to a place of surrender. And it struck me to the core that all this guy needed was for somebody to talk to him. All this guy needed was for someone to speak to him. We don't know what was said, but what stopped him from going any further, and possibly, most certainly, he probably would have lost his life, because if they had no way of stopping him, they would have to literally take him out to keep him from going any further and doing damage. But all it took was a voice, someone that was willing to step in right there. This man was willing to risk his life. He didn't know him. He wasn't a friend. He wasn't a loved one or a family member. He was a complete stranger that was just there, saw this happening, and went and spoke to this guy. There's a lot of people, if you take a look at this photo, there was an absence, a complete absence. It was like stone face. And, you know, people, there's a lot of people who are hurting. There's a lot of people who they're lost. A lot of people, they have just reached this place where they can literally just be taken over by the power of darkness, because life and their circumstances and rejection and hurt and pain and just feeling that they're bad people and there's no hope for them. They can be driven. The more a person feel that they're less than and they're being treated that way and they feel that they're no good, they can be driven to do unthinkable things. This guy looks almost robotic. He almost looks like a wax figure, you know. But somewhere in that stony expression, the words of this man was able to reach him, and he got out of there. and he surrendered himself. My brothers and sisters, it's important that we understand that we are in times in our society where people need to be heard, and they need not only heard, guys, but they need it. All it takes is just to talk to somebody. Regardless of how they may look on the outside, regardless of how mean you may think that they are, sometimes all they need is for you and I to take the time out to say something. You can stop disasters. You can stop someone from taking their lives. You can stop someone from carrying out a homicide. You can stop someone from just going into that next level of depression. You can bring someone out by a timely word, because this was a timely word. There's nothing that said that he spoke the word of God or anything to him. We don't know, but we do know, and I believe in everything, that the Lord used this man to stop him, because he could have easily been shot and killed. And this stuff has happened before, where people took like a bulldozer and things of that nature, and they had to kill them. All it takes is our voice. All it takes is a moment for us to think outside of ourselves, to take a look around us. And not only that, guys, we have to intercede for people. We have to pray for strangers. I believe in everything. Somebody's prayer made this situation become totally different. I believe the Lord placed this man there to help this other guy in that fire truck, to stop him. God can use whoever he wants to use, no matter what position they are in. But what we do know is this man just needed to hear whatever this guy standing in front of the fire truck had to say to him. And that was able to cause him something in him to stop what he's doing. As believers, we can't just have our nose in the air and our noses in the Bible and have ourselves in church with our shiny shoes on and dancing and prancing in church and doing all these things. But we're not taking the time to truly speak to people, taking the time to stand in the fire with other people and to help them. It is not enough for people who think they're just going to give in the church and they're going to volunteer in the four walls and do things in the four walls. And when you get out of the house of God, or you get out from your prayer group and you get out from praying, then you pass someone who's wounded and who's hurting. And truly, if you have a heart for people and you don't know how to really approach people, you pray and you ask the Lord to show you, to give you the opportunities to help someone. And the Lord would help you, that you will be in the right place at the right time. No, you may not necessarily be standing in front of a fire truck. Maybe you won't be in anything as sensational as that, but God will have you in a place at the right time, at your job, in your neighborhood, in the store, in traffic, in line at the bank, and even especially in your own household. You'll be sensitive to what's going on with those in your own home. Guys, people need prayer. We've got to intercede for people. We must intercede for strangers. Intercede for those who are lost, who are hurting, who needs the Lord. People who have lost their way. People who are losing their minds. People who are so far gone in sin that they feel like there's nothing left for them but to just be a menace to society. We've got to pray for people out there, not just for your pastors and not just for your friends and your family. Pray for people. Just intercede for people, because there's a lot of hurting people out there in the world. And more than anything, remember, lots of people are hurting. Lots of people are going through different things. And regardless of how they look on the outside, sometimes all they need is a voice for someone to just speak to them. Acknowledge them. Say good morning. Say good evening. Hello. Thank you. And you never know that you could be saving someone's life who already have something detrimental, fatal, planned for the rest of their evening. I saw someone in Walmart maybe a couple years ago, and the Lord told me to go up to her and just to speak to her. And I don't know why she felt I wanted something. because I wasn't looking like a bum. But we are living in a society where people just don't trust anybody. But needless to say, just a few minutes of just talking to her and saying what the Lord gave me to give to her, that lady broke down in the aisle. Broke down in the aisle at the store and began to tell me all these things that her son is going through. The Lord gave me something else to say to someone randomly. And the young man that was in the store, younger, way younger than me, I was able to, he hugged me in the store. Total stranger. Okay? Of course, this is before COVID. I don't think anybody's going to get that close anymore. But to me, looking at these individuals from the outside, they look stony-faced. They look like everything is fine. You may think, oh, if I say something, they're going to do this or that. But that young gentleman knew exactly what I was talking to him about. And he hugs me. And so what am I saying? We have to be sensitive to the Spirit of God. You may not necessarily be hugging anybody, but sometimes the Lord may drop it in your heart to say something to someone. That person that always looks so mean, and that person that always looks as if they hate the world. It's not necessarily that they're mean, but they have things going on inside, and people get really turned off or become afraid because of what they look like. Granted, yes, you have to use discernment and discretion. So that's why you ask God to lead you. Father, show me, open my eyes so I'm just not going along, with my day, having my own, doing my own thing and being completely ignorant to the needs of others. Lord, let me open my eyes and let me be sensitive and know who is in need. And truly, all it takes is a voice. Truly, all it takes is to care. Truly, all it takes is to be considerate and nice to somebody and just to speak to them. There are people that's walking around, no one asks them anything. No one cares about them. Nothing. All they need is just for someone to speak. And when you open your mouth to speak, just like the Word of God says, you don't need to know what you're going to say. You don't need to rehearse it. But in that very hour, you know exactly what to say. All right, guys. God bless.